Hello everyone, welcome back to another video. Today we're going to be creating a background pattern generator similar to this, and you can see I have a couple of square boxes and I have three inputs of type checkbox, and once I click this the background pattern changes. If I click this it changes again, and this one changes as well. As you can see, it's looking very nice. So to get started, I'm just going to let me reset this, and I'm going to open my text editor right there. I have an empty folder, so I'm going to create an index HTML file like that, and then I'm going to create my style CSS, and then I'm going to create my main.js, which will control the functionality which will change the background pattern. Okay, so I can get started. I can create a boilerplate like that, and I can link my style sheet, so style.css, and then I can as well link my script file which is called main.js, and then change this title to background pattern generator like that. And let me squeeze this just a bit more. Okay, close this. Okay, yeah, okay, that's much better. And then I'm going to have a div with a class of container inside here, and then inside this div I'm going to have 152 divs, so div times 100 because that's the maximum that you can generate with Emmet. And sorry, they need to have a class of bg like that, and then I'm going to go ahead and create 52 other divs. 52 other divs with class of bg. The reason I've chosen 152 is because when I place this full screen, then they cover my entire screen without adding the scroll bar. Okay, and then once I do that, I need to add the form that will control these inputs. But let me add this heading first. So I'm going to say an h1 saying background pattern generator like that, and then below this I'm going to add a form of class form and id of form, remove the action, and then I'll have a label for checkbox which we're going to create, so checkbox 1, and then I'm going to create an input of type checkbox with the name of checkbox 1 like that, and an id of checkbox 1, and then I'm just going to grab all of this and copy it 2 more times like that. Change this to checkbox 2, this to checkbox 2 as well, and grab this and change this to 3. Okay, so once you save that, I can open this with the live server and we can begin styling it in our style sheet. So I can close that, and I can go into my style sheet and reset everything. So I'm going to say margin 0, padding 0, and box sizing or border box like that. And then I'm going to say for my container, let me just display flex, align item center, and justify content center. There's one property that I've not added purposefully, just so that you can see the purpose once I add it. So for my bg, I want to be able to see them, so I'm going to say I'm going to add a padding of 40 pixels on each one of them, and a background color of blue. And then I'm going to say let me separate them by adding a margin of 1 pixel all round like that. Save that. Now you'll notice that they go all the way and then they create a horizontal scroll bar. So because we don't want that, then there's a property that you can add right here, and you can say flex wrap of wrap like that, and then this happens. Okay, it's looking very nice, very nice. And let me say flex direction column. Let's see if this will work. Flex direction column. Nope, we don't want that. So the reason why I was adding that is because I don't want this to be on the same line, so I'm just going to have to move them up a bit, and I'm going to move this above that like that, and then I think I'll have to move this form as well, so just move it above like that. Okay, and I forgot to add the titles for the label, so let me just go ahead and say add border radius like that. Remove this, and then for this I'm going to say add more border radius, and then for the third one I'm going to say add even more border radius like that, and we should see this. Okay, it's looking nice, it's looking nice. So let me just style this a bit more for the H1, and I'm going to say for the H1, let me just text align center, and let me increase the font size to 72 pixels like that. And then I can target the form as well, and I can say display flex align item center and justify content center, which will move it to the center like that. And then let me add some padding so that they can push away from the boxes just a bit, and I'm going to say padding of 10 on pixels on the top, 0 on the left and right, and 30 pixels on the bottom like that. Let's say 20 pixels instead, like that. Okay, it's looking nice, it's looking nice. And then for the labels, just I want to add a margin on the left and right so that they can push away from one another. Okay, so I'm going to say for my form class, I want to target the label, and I want to have a margin of 0 on the top and bottom, and 20 pixels on the left and right like that. Okay, so it's looking nice. So the next thing that we're going to do is we're going to target these checkboxes in our JavaScript, and then we're also going to target the boxes, and then we're going to loop over the boxes to add the styles that we're going to create in a moment. So actually, let me move this down, let me clean this up a bit, and yeah, this is looking fine. Okay, so the first class that we're going to add is called border one. You can call it whatever you want and add any styles that you want. So when these boxes have a class of border one, then I want to add a border radius on one side of the box. So I'm going to say let's have a border radius of 60 pixels on the top left, 0 on the top right, or 0 on the bottom right, and 0 on the bottom left. And then I'm going to say transform, and I'm going to say I want to rotate it by 40 degrees. And just so that it's smoother, I'm going to add a transition effect here. So transition the everything by 1 second. So you can test this out easily by just adding this class in your HTML to see if it works. So I'm going to say just for this first one, let's say a border one, and that happens, as you can see. So it's working, but you don't want to do that manually, so we're going to add it in the JavaScript. So I'm going to select my first checkbox, which is this. So const checkbox 1 equals to document dot get element by ID, and it has an ID of checkbox 1 that we added. And then I'm going to say for my boxes, I want to grab all the boxes because I want to add the style that we created here on all the boxes if this checkbox is clicked. So I'm going to grab all the boxes, and I'm going to say boxes dot I'm going to say const boxes equals to document dot query selector all, like that, and they all have a class of bg. And then I'm going to add an event listener on the boxes, sorry, not on the boxes but on the checkbox, and then we'll manipulate the boxes. So I'm going to say checkbox 1 dot add event listener, and we're listening for the change event on the input, create our arrow function, and then I'm going to say boxes dot for each. So we're going to be looping over all the boxes, and then I'm going to say for each individual box, then I want to return a box dot class list dot toggle, like that, and we want to toggle the border dash 1 class. So let's save that, and let's see if this works. As you can see, it's working very nicely, very nicely. And then we just need to do that for these two remaining checkboxes. So let me just create the classes. Let me copy this and copy it 2 more times, change this border 2, change this to border 3, and I'm going to say for the border 2 radius, I'm going to have 60 pixels on the top and 0 0 on the bottom. So on the top left and top right, they're going to have a border radius of 60 pixels, and at the bottom they're going to have a border radius of 0. And then I want to rotate these on the x-axis, or let me say y-axis, by 180 degrees so that they will flip over like a card being flipped. And then for the border 3, not 13, I'm going to say let's say 60 pixels all round, and then let's rotate this on the x-axis by let's see if 360 will work, 360 degrees. And then we can now target each of our checkboxes in our JavaScript. So grab this and copy 2 more times, change this to 2 and change this to 3, and then we can grab this, copy it 2 more times as well, change this to checkbox 2, change this to border 2, and change this to checkbox 3, and change this to border 3, like that. Let's save that and let's see if it works. So the first one works, the second one works, as you can see, very nice, and the third one also works. It's looking very, very nice. Now for the second one, I don't really like this style, so let me see if I can change it up a bit. In our style sheet, let me add 60 pixels here as well, and then let me rotate it. Let's see if I can rotate it. Actually, you know what, that's fine. Yeah, I think that's fine. That's fine, really. But as you can see, we have created a background pattern generator using minimal code, and I hope you got to use the query selector all and the for each, which is really nice if you want to iterate over, because as you can see, we have 152 boxes, so it would be a real pain if you were to select each one of the boxes using query selector, then each individual box is 152 times, and it's not feasible. So if you enjoyed the video, please leave a like and subscribe, and I will see you in the next video.